Good morning. I knew what I was going to say when I was sitting there. Was that Margaret? Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, the Stewardship Committee invited me to have the privilege of speaking to you this morning on the subject of the Wesleyan dictum of doing all the good you can for as many people as you can, in every way you can, everywhere you can, for as long as you can, for 2 minutes. You ever see a college professor talk for less than 2 minutes? If I talk for 2 minutes or less, that would be doing a lot of good for a lot of people right now, right here. And as I think, well, I need an example. I'm going to stay in my time. How much time do I have left? I need an example. And I look around the room and I can see many, many examples of people working and doing those very things as much as they can, as every place they can. And I look around the room that was here in 1990 when Marilyn and I joined this church, and I see the people who were not here anymore who were doing that. But it's a continuum. It's a continuum. And I also see people who are here now who were here then. And I'm looking at several of them, and I want to just single out, just for the heck of it, Phil and Honey as a couple of do-gooders. Who, in fact, it was Phil's responsibility, and, he should feel some guilt that Marilyn and I joined this church in 1990 because we adopted our daughter and wanted her to be baptized by Phil and by Bill Boughton, Reverend Boughton, and by Reverend Chitawara. And they were done at the same time with their son Benjamin. And this was truly a multicultural baptism. Speaking of our daughter, she was raised in this church. And when she was, preschool, somewhere preschool or early school, she woke up one day and thought she was a lion. And we'd come to church a little early, and she'd be roaming around on all fours and growling and purring and stuff. And people would look, and it's particularly the Greens, Tom and Betty Green, who sat over here. And they got a kick out of her, and they'd pet her head, and she'd purr, and she'd, like a young lion would. And the Greens were the people that Pastor Boughton every Christmas had to reassure that when he invited the congregation one Sunday for the hanging of the greens in the church, their lives were not in question. One of her young friends, though, took exception to her activity in this lionish way and said to her one day, says, why are you even doing that? That's embarrassing. And she said, I'm not embarrassed. I said, as long as I'm bringing joy to people, why would I be embarrassed? And I think that if you have that calling that you can bring joy to people, well, you should do it. And that seems to me some good that you can do in a little old way. If you wake up one day, you think you're a lion, check the mirror, but that's my little testimony. There's no more.